Greetings and welcome to another video. Yesterday I finished reading another Star Trek book, and the book in question is this one here, Star Trek The Next Generation, Dragon's Honor. Now before I talk about the book and my opinions, I'm going to read to you what it says on the back. So yeah. Star Trek The Next Generation, Dragon's Honor. Isolated for centuries, the exotic Dragon Empire is finally ready to join the United Federation of Planets. But first, the Emperor's eldest son must marry the only daughter of his oldest enemy, bringing to an end decades of civil war. Without the wedding, there can be no peace, and no treaty with the Federation. As honoured guests of the Dragon Empire, Captain Picard and the crew of the Starship Enterprise must ensure that the royal wedding occurs on schedule, despite the Empire's complicated and difficult codes of honour. And Dr. Beverly Crusher finds her loyalties torn when she wins the confidence of the unusually reluctant bride-to-be. More than just a treaty is at stake, for a vicious race of alien conquerors will stop at nothing, from assassination to invasion, to keep the Empire out of the Federation. Picard must now use all his skills to save the Empire and preserve the Dragon's honour. So yeah, I enjoyed this book. It was a good book. There were 16 chapters involved, and Chapter 1 begins quite quickly. It sets the scene with the captain's log and a quick introduction to the surroundings and the settings that the story happens in. And things unfold at an interesting pace. I was really into this book. I enjoyed it. I suppose one of my favourite moments was Worf, when he went down to the planet that is the setting of this story. He did come to blows with the Chief of Security of the Dragon Empire. Chief of Security, I think that's his proper title is mentioned in the book. But the two men come to blows over their different ideas of what honour is and what is honourable. But Worf walks away impressed, and then after that, when it's time to get the job done, to investigate various problems that occur during the story, I like the way Worf handles the situation. He acts like less like a stereotypical Klingon itching for a fight over an excuse, I guess. No, he has his honour and he has his standards, but he does his duty, he does his job, and he's having to investigate a problem, trying to solve a puzzle. And as Chief of Security of the USS Enterprise, I'd like to see more stories where Worf investigates, acts more like a policeman, if you will, trying to solve a puzzle. Because I know there have been many episodes and stories of Star Trek where the puzzle and a problem is right there for the crew to deal with, but it comes down to someone like Data or Geordi to investigate and find the solution or whatever. But since, like I say, Worf is Chief of Security, you'd expect him to be more at front and centre of doing investigations. So seeing him do something like that and doing the job well is on top of it all, doing the job well. That's a satisfying thing to be found in the story. A few other details took my interest as well, and I would recommend people read this book if you haven't done so already. 16 chapters, the whole thing is straight to the point, easy to get through, and this comes into one of the biggest takeaways from the book for me, is the whole thing about honour. Now let's be clear, having a sense of honour is a good thing. It's a fantastic thing. Having honour about yourself and your individual circumstances, having honour about your local community, your culture, and from that a sense of pride about everything you've achieved and could potentially achieve in the future going forward. It's okay to have a sense of honour in your potential as much as anything else. But therein lies the problem, is that everyone has different ideas on what honour actually means. We see it in real life, where European nations have one sense of honour, whereas Far Eastern Asians, like China and Japan, have their own strict codes of honour. And I suppose the devil is in the details. To what extent are both sets of codes of honour similar or different? And trying to understand that all is a potential source of conflict. I mean, in Star Trek we see that with the United Federation of Planets have their own sense of honour and duty, while on the other hand, the Klingon Empire have also their own sense of honour and duty. But the Klingon idea and definition of honour and duty is different to the Federation's idea of honour and duty. And those differences and trying to navigate all that has been the source of much conflict between the Federation and the Klingon Empire, which we've seen in various TV episodes, various comics, various novels, and so on. And that problem comes up again because the Dragon Empire has its own set of ideals, its own code of conduct, and its own definition of honour. And they are very, very strict about it. And both Captain Picard and Lieutenant Worf, in fact the entire crew of the Enterprise, find themselves frustrated, extremely frustrated, trying to navigate and understand the Dragon Empire's code of honour system, while at the same time pressing forward the importance that the Dragon Empire need to get certain things done, get this wedding sorted, get the treaty signed, because there's an invasion on its way. There's an entire armada, a fleet of alien conquerors coming down on the planet, and the Emperor seems not to care, seems completely oblivious to it all. The nobles that the crew meet seem to be lacking in self-awareness because they are so blinded by their code of honour, and just trying to, on one hand, respect the culture of the Dragon Empire and respect their code of honour, trying to do that while at the same time just wanting to grab someone and just slap them in the face to knock some sense into them, to get them to see the bigger picture, that other things are very important and there's a threat on your doorstep kind of thing. This whole thing, that aspect of the story, I found really interesting, and it just made me realise that, yeah, in general, there's always going to be problems when trying to navigate different people's different ideas of what honour is, what it should be, um, what it is on a piece of paper versus what it is in real life, and how it does or perhaps does not marry together. So yeah, it made me think about all of that, possibilities, outcomes, or problems this kind of thing can and does cause, and at the same time the solutions and the possibilities of cooperation and working together for a better world should everyone succeed in understanding and appreciating what honour is, both on a personal level and on a community level and on a cultural level. But this kind of conversation isn't an easy one to have. It takes time to hammer things out. And most of the time, people do have the luxury of sitting down and listening to each other without the worry of an outside hostile force coming in and messing things up. But when that hostile force is at your door, it needs to be recognised for what it is. Otherwise, everything you've ever wanted to achieve, both past, present and future, is just down the drain over petty arguments and nothing, because it won't matter anymore. Because the hostile force will have taken advantage of your what's the word I'm looking for? Stubbornness, disunity, I guess is a better word. But yeah, while honour is a good thing and a potential force for good, if not kept in check and kept with a sense of reality at the same time, then it can potentially drown you out and bury you under an avalanche of negativity and problems which could have been avoided if you just had that reality check balanced with your sense of honour. But yeah, that probably wasn't as easy to explain as I first thought it might do, but everything I've just said was my initial big takeaway from this book. Yeah, but different people may have different opinions, different takeaways, different ideas about what this book is all about. And it would be interesting to hear what people think about this book if you've read it in the comments below this video. So yeah, it's good, very good. On that note, I'm going to finish this video here. I'm going to put some details about this book in the description box below this video if anyone's interested. But yeah, if you're able to get your hands on a copy of this book, it's worth the effort in my opinion. So yeah. I'm going to now have a think about what book I want to read next and get started on that, because I've got piles and piles of books which I really want to read, because they're all pretty interesting, every book I've got right now, so I really do want to decide what to read next, get through it, and hopefully make a video about it later on. So yeah, looking forward to getting that sorted. In the meantime, take care everyone, be safe, Thank you for everyone for taking the time to watch my video. Please check out my other videos about Star Trek books and other books about other subjects. I would appreciate that if you did that if you're interested. But yeah, thank you. Take care of yourselves, be safe, and I'll see you all soon in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.